All right, Jennifer, we are live. You can take it away.
Wonderful. Thank you. Hi, my name is Jennifer White. I work with the Student Recruitment Office at the St. John's campus of Memorial University, located in beautiful Newfoundland and Labrador. This overview of this presentation is going to be focused on undergraduate programs that are available at the St. John's campus. But we're going to start with an overview of Memorial University in general, just because it kind of sets the stage for the St. John's campus. We have 6 campuses in total, most of them located in Newfoundland, but there is a little hidden gem that Memorial University owns, which is our campus in Harlow. It is just outside of London in the UK, and it's a part-time campus where students can go and study or work abroad from that campus. Our other campuses, we have 2 located in St. John's. The St. John's campus, which is the largest of the campuses, though that will be the focus of this presentation this evening. But we also have our Marine Institute located in St. John's, and our Grenfell campus located in Corner Brook, which is on the western side of the island of Newfoundland. And just in this past year, last January, coming up on their first anniversary, is our Labrador campus, located in Happy Valley Goose Bay in Labrador. Of all our campuses, we have more than 300 programs, a student population approaching 20,000, a great student-faculty ratio, and our student population is very diverse. We still pull about 2/3 of our student population from Newfoundland and Labrador, but obviously we have a large proportion of our students coming from every corner of Canada and over 115 countries internationally. Some beautiful photos of St. John's itself. At the top there, the white building you can see in the larger picture, that's actually our Mara Innovation Center. It's located on Signal Hill, which you can see Cabot Tower there shining in the morning fog, it looks like, or morning sun. The Innovation Center houses our conference services, but also our graduate student residences. So best view in the city, beautiful place to live, and conference services is more or less our public facing for our local business community, and a lot of workshops and accreditation programs that go on in that center. But certainly St. John's is a beautiful place to live, and the St. John's campus is located right in the heart of St. John's, but also in the heart, as you can see, of our beautiful green space, which is Pippi Park, located right next door. Beautiful walking trails, skiing trails in the winter, snowshoeing. But of course, this is beautiful sunny summer picture that's here, or maybe early fall. You can see our residence buildings in the foreground next to Burton's Pond, which is located right on campus. Traditional Peyton College houses you can see there, but also our newer McPherson College, the 2 horseshoe-shaped buildings there. So we have more than 2,000 students that do live in residence, both on campus and at the Signal Hill for our graduate students. More than 50 buildings make up our St. John's campus, but you will find your home within your faculty or school. And the university community itself is a home inside our bigger St. John's community. Everything is within walking distance, and I'll sort of go through our academic programs and then talk a little bit about student life as well on the St. John's campus. For areas of study, it's probably easiest to kind of talk about our direct entry programs first. So for those that are in high school or going to post-secondary studies for the first time, direct entry on the St. John's campus. They're broken down into 2 categories. So general admission, so anything within our Faculty of Business, Humanities and Social Science, or our Faculty of Science. General admission requirements is what you're going to be looking at meeting, and we'll talk about that in a minute. But for competitive entry programs, we do have 4 direct entry competitive entry programs: nursing, engineering, human kinetics and recreation, and music. To talk a little bit about each of these programs, it's not a lot of time, so we're just going to do this quickly. Our business program consists of our Bachelor of Commerce and our Bachelor of Commerce co-op. students enter into a common first year for both these programs and then decide on a co-op option or a strictly course-based option starting in their second year. Humanities and social sciences is a very, very diverse on the St. John's campus. We have more than 23 different majors that you can study. Lots of interdisciplinary programs like criminology and linguistics and folklore, but also some really broad categories as well. Probably some of the most popular are our history studies as well as a psychology program. For sciences, students can find really up-to-date labs, a really diverse population within our science program. It is our largest faculty, and because of our unique location, we find a lot of students in other parts of Canada are looking to marine biology, ocean sciences, and our engineering programs. Within the sciences, 3 of our units have moved into our new core science facility, which actually is our newest building on campus, our largest building on campus, and certainly our most accessible building for lab space for first-year students studying biology, chemistry, and biochemistry. For our Bachelor of Nursing program, it is a direct entry program from high school if students have completed 2 years of biology or 2 courses in biology and chemistry. With our nursing program, only about 1/3 of the class comes direct entry from high school. Most of our students do enter our nursing program after completing a year of studies in post-secondary and then moving into our 4-year program after that point in time. We have new locations for our nursing program, which is really expanding the availability of seats for students outside of the province. So we have our 2 sites in St. John's, the Centre for Nursing Studies and the Faculty of Nursing. We also have sites in Corner Brook, Gander, Grand Falls, and Goose Bay, which are actually drawing a lot of students from throughout the province. So our sites in St. John's have actually opened up more seats to those outside the province and international applicants as well. Engineering, you can see a wide range of engineering programs. Again, students would enter into a common year in their first year and then move into their chosen field of engineering after getting a little background. So you can see civil, computer, electrical, mechanical, and process engineering, which are common to other engineering programs across Canada, but uniquely we do have the Ocean and Naval Architectural Engineering program, and we are beginning a mechatronics engineering program as well next fall, so fall of 2023. Human kinetics and recreation, we have again a co-op option, which is really great for that work experience, which you'll see both in our engineering program and our Faculty of Business. But you can go into a course-based, purely course-based program in kinesiology, physical education, or recreation. Our Bachelor of Music program is a smaller school compared to those across Canada, and you can do a Bachelor of Music, a joint Bachelor of Music and Business, and certainly choose from many different majors in composition, performance, and others. The music program does require an audition, and those are typically held in February, either in person in certain locations across Canada or in by video. Obviously, that's become a really great option in more recent years. Non-direct entry programs, our Faculty of Education, a wide variety of education programs available. Our primary elementary can be done as a first degree, but you will need to complete 2 years of post-secondary studies in order to meet the admission requirements into that program. And then our other programs are done as second degree programs. So you will need to do a complete undergraduate degree with your teachable areas, or certainly music education with your music degree, and then move into your education courses. Social work and pharmacy both require 1 year of post-secondary study. So you would come under general admission and then work on those admission requirements in your first year and move on to the social work and pharmacy program. They are competitive entry, and we do encourage students to reach out to those faculties and schools while they're completing their first year of studies to ensure that they're meeting all of the requirements and preparing for the interview process for pharmacy, and ensuring that they have the volunteer hours and expected community service for our social work program. Our medicine program at the St. John's campus is a postgraduate program, so you will need to complete an undergraduate degree in order to move in and be accepted into our School of Medicine. The undergraduate degree is really your own choice. They pull students from a wide variety of backgrounds, completing music degrees, anthropology degrees, a wide range, including a wide range of sciences. They just encourage students to do really well, strive for success in your academics, but also really broaden your focus and get that community service and that understanding of what it means to be, in a health profession, and ensure you're preparing yourself for that admissions process. As I said, this beautiful picture of St. John's, but also a gorgeous picture of our Marine Institute. There is a link and some information available on my booth, so I would encourage you to come there, learn more about the Marine Institute and their connection to programs that are in the marine environment. Probably the most popular is the underwater vehicle, the ROV program, remotely operated vehicle program. It's very, very unique across Canada, and it really does prepare students for working in the transportation and exploration industry offshore. The Grenfell campus on the West Coast, again, beautiful picture of Corner Brook here. This is a much smaller campus. There's only about 1,500 students that study here, but you can see the residence building with the red roof line there, as well as our chalets. They're very ski focused at Grenfell because they're located in very close to our ski hill, Marble Mountain Ski Hill, which does boast the deepest snow east of Quebec. So a little about student life. You come to university for your academics, and we really, really encourage you to, choose a university based on your interest in your program of study. But it's not the only thing that will draw you to a university. Being successful and ensuring that you're going to be supported through those early days of your post-secondary studies, as well as throughout your undergraduate degree program and beyond. We have academic advising that's available with you right throughout choosing your courses for your first semester and right throughout your degree program. Academic help centers, which are like tutoring centers throughout campus, whether you're building your reading and writing skills or specifically needing some help in your coursework for your major or your degree program. We have over a dozen academic help centers scattered throughout the St. John's campus. At all levels of post-secondary, we encourage students to look at their career choices, start developing those workplace skills and those transferable skills that your area of interest are going to lead you into, and start learning more about your industry. Career development, our Center for Career Development is quite large on the St. John's campus. You can meet with employers there. There's a career fair that happens every year that's really informative for students, even in their first semester. Dentist office, doctor's offices, a counseling center, lots of health and wellness services all throughout campus. Learning accommodations on the St. John's campus are brought to you by the Blunden Center. They've been providing learning accommodations for students with physical or learning disabilities for many, many years, and they have a wide range of services available. We do encourage students to contact them early, ensure that your accommodations are in place and things are ready for you before your first semester. Student-run resource centers for those maybe that are joining post-secondary older than average. Those that are identifying with a particular group are our Indigenous Student Resource Center, International Student Resource Center, lots of centers run by our Memorial University Undergraduate Students Union to ensure that students do find their home and connect with others on campus right away. Gaining experience is everything from co-ops and internships, studying abroad, doing undergraduate research and being involved on campus, whether it's working on campus. We do provide over 1,000 jobs to students all throughout the university. Anywhere where you see student services, you see students working. Current students, senior students who are working in order to provide those services to newer students or other students on campus. We, every summer within our research facility, because we are a very large research-focused institution, we provide positions in research labs in the summer months, especially within our Faculty of Science, Engineering, and Human Kinetics and Recreation. Over 300 students will work with researchers every year and provide great work experience and get some knowledge of whether that's the direction they want to take their career. Students associations, clubs, and societies abound at university. There's Memorial University. There's more than 250 associations, clubs, and societies. You'll find something that you like. You'll find some people to connect with. And if there's something that you don't see there, you can certainly get your own club ratified and draw in others who might like to share in your experience as well. So high school admissions, we at the St. John's and Grenfell campus for full degree programs. You can find these on our website, mun.ca/undergrad, specific to each province in Canada, or if you're applying as an international student, you'll find your application requirements based on your country or your curriculum of study. But in general, overall 70% average for general admissions. You will be looking at English, math, a lab science, a social science, and an elective, and an overall average of 70 in those areas. Again, if you're looking at a competitive entry program, you really should be you're looking for those courses specifically that your degree program or your academic unit is looking for, and we can certainly help you with that, but you can get started by looking at the undergrad programs pages. For those that are doing advanced placement or the IB program, we do provide a wide array of transfer credits that you can avail of when you're coming in to study at Memorial. We have a very generous transfer credit from the IB program, and certainly reach out if you have any questions about what you're currently studying and what you may be awarded upon admission. On-campus housing, obviously you had a different view of our student residences earlier, but this is more of an evening view in the summer, right next to Burton's Pond. It's a beautiful place to live. And like I said, there's over 2,000 students that do live on campus at the St. John's campus. And we really do encourage students who are in their first year, make sure that if you're looking at residence, our application deadline is March 1st for most of our programs. If your application is received by then you will be guaranteed housing as a first-year student. But you really want to ensure that you get your application in early so you can have your choice of residence style. And there's lots of academic and non-academic support available. And you're right on the doorstep of campus. Our campus is connected by tunnels and skywalk system. You always know students that are in residence because they're the ones in January with their flip-flops and shorts on going on to class, because they don't need to step outside in order to get to most of the academic buildings on campus. This is a quick look at our webpage. As you can see, lots of information available. We encourage you to go look at the programs page and certainly the first year information in order to get a clear understanding of the coursework you'll do in your first year and how that leads into those non-direct entry programs or further studies in your selected area. So Logan, is there any questions that I can answer for students right now?
Yes, absolutely. We do have a good amount of questions, and folks who are tuned in, please keep them coming. The first question we have from Evan here: what are the dorms and the student community like?
Pardon me?
Sorry, what are the dorms and student community like?
Oh, sure. So our residences, we have two styles of residence, a more traditional style, which is about 90 students in each house. A house, they all have their own culture, their own mascots, their own charities that they work towards, but a very tight-knit community. There's both new students, so first-year students, as well as senior students who act as residence assistants or academic tutors within your residence. So you have an automatic family as soon as you join on campus. With our newer residences, it is sort of floor style. They do have certain living, learning communities in our newer residents. So if you're someone that is enjoys outdoor pursuits, they certainly do sort of start pairing and grouping students together who are interested in taking on those challenges. Or if you're studying in a certain area, so engineering and nursing, both have their living learning community, so you can surround yourself with others that are in the same academic program. On campus, you will find your home in your academic unit. Our societies that run in each of our academic units have space on campus to invite new students in, start learning about those academic programs, and you kind of find your home. But it's also a lot of opportunity to get to know other students, whether it's through our clubs and societies or taking part in intramurals. There's lots and lots of activities to get to know other students, whether you're meeting socially, or maybe you're advocating for a certain group, or you're working together on projects. There's lots of meeting space all throughout campus. And because of the diversity of our undergraduate student population, not only do you get to meet a lot of students who are studying a wide variety of areas, but a lot of students that are coming from many, many different cultures, which is really exciting.
Thanks very much, Jennifer. We've got plenty more questions. And again, keep them coming, folks, if you have questions. Next one here, can you talk a bit more about the engineering offerings? What do the engineering courses look like?
Sure. So our engineering students, they apply under what's called Engineering 1. Engineering 1 is the first year of the engineering program, where you'll do common courses to all engineering students, regardless of what you hope to go into as your specific engineering major. Engineering 1 is an opportunity to really dig in. There's 4 courses that present all the different majors, what it means to be an engineer, sort of about the profession, and then really helps you decide whether are you a civil engineer, an electrical engineer, do you want to try a brand new engineering area in mechatronics, or something that's very unique to St. John's, which is, like I said, the Ocean and Naval Architectural Engineering program. So engineering 1, you get to meet a lot of students. There is opportunity to do courses outside of engineering, of course. You'll still be maintaining your math courses and your introductory reading and writing courses. But then in your second year, you'll move into your discipline, so your chosen major of engineering. You'll do 2 academic terms in that discipline, and then you'll start alternating terms with a course-based term and then a work term. We have up to 6 work terms that you can do throughout your engineering program, your undergraduate degree. A minimum of 4 are mandatory, but you can do up to 6. If you do all 6, you're actually completing 2 years of specific engineering related activities, and all of those hours go towards your professional designation as an engineer. With co-op programs all throughout the university, you do work with co-op coordinators and prepare yourself for those work terms. Building your resume, understanding interview skills, making sure you can talk about yourself with employers, because it is a process that's very similar to what you'll find after graduation, even though it is a closed process. So we work with employers. We have been doing this for more than 40 years. Employers that really want young engineers, people who are still studying, to come out and work with them. So they post their positions within a closed environment. Only our engineering students have access to those positions, and they have a 100% success rate with placing engineering students throughout their work terms. Those work terms, we really encourage students to look locally, maybe not just within our province, but certainly within Canada for their first work term. After that, you could go anywhere for your work terms. If you're an international student, you want to return to your home country to work as an engineer, we can help you with that. Help you locate employers that we've worked with before, or ones that would really provide a suitable environment for you to do a work term. But if you're a Canadian student, you can certainly work with Canadian companies that are working all around the world, or design your own experience. With the engineering program, there's also lots of fun involved too. They have a lot of groups that gather to work on different things, like our concrete sled program. They have a Baja vehicle program, a sailing program. So they're not programs, they're clubs that get together, work on projects together, and then there's some friendly competition with other institutions as well. So if there's anything more specific, but I think that's a good general overview of the program.
Thanks very much. Sounds pretty interesting. Not that I have the math knowledge ever to succeed at that.
I know, it was fun to go and watch the engineers, though. They get up to some crazy things.
More general question, application deadlines, do they roll? Are they different for different types of students? What are the deadlines like?
So for most of our programs, we stick with March 1st for the deadline. With a couple of our programs, our Faculty of Engineering, and our Human Kinetics and Recreation, if they see strong students that are doing really well in their high school program, they will offer early admissions to those students in order to show our commitment to you. But for most students, if your application is in by March 1st, then you'll be considered with the pool of applicants that year for those competitive entry programs. For nursing, the application process is a little earlier. It is a January 20th deadline in order to submit what's needed for your application. Well, the application itself is January 20th, and then all the documentation needs to be in. So there are references, a statement, and you do need to complete the CASPER test. If you have questions about that, please contact me and I can point you in the right direction, or you can go to our programs page and just hit nursing, and then it'll all be laid out there for you. If you're looking at our Bachelor of Fine Arts program, Alfred at Grenfell, or our music program, again, they have earlier application deadlines because there is the audition processes that you would be looking to go through. So get in contact, but those deadlines are towards the end of January, so there's still lots of time to get your application in.
Beautiful, that's great news. Thanks for that. I'm going to piggyback off and jump another question ahead because you had mentioned CASPER. Question from Caitlin, what percentage of the admission process is the CASPER test for the nursing program? Does that make sense?
It does, actually. I have had this, like, what importance, what kind of weight does the CASPER test carry? With the CASPER test, the results come as percentile. So you're either in the top 25 percentile, the mid, like the second 25% percentile. So they'll come like that. You're in each quarter. So what our faculty, our nursing admissions does is they look at your overall application and upon the strength of that, and then the seats they have available. I'm going to say this past year, because of the increase in seats in Newfoundland, we added an extra 72 seats into our nursing program by opening up 3 additional sites. That they did take students that were actually the CASPER wasn't as weighted towards because they were looking more so for that academic background. So I'm going to say it's not as important as your academics coming out of your high school program, or if you're applying as a current post-secondary student, your academics you're achieving in your high school program. But also that personal statement is so important as well. Why do you want to go into nursing? What is drawing you to that profession? And how do you feel you're well suited to that profession? But again, you can connect with the nursing admissions office if you have concerns of your CASPER results, and they can certainly talk through that process with you.
Beautiful, thank you very much. Another question here about agricultural programs. Do you offer them? What sort of agricultural programs might you have?
We don't have an agricultural program right now, but we're really confident that something will be coming, and it's actually going to be fairly unique in that our Labrador campus, like I said, they've just established their campus last year, but they were granted a farm in the area. It's called the Pie Farm, and it's actually going to be looking at northern food supplies. So it's going to be a really unique part of the School of Arctic and Subarctic Studies, really looking at climate change, but also growth patterns and agriculture in the north. So we haven't got an established agricultural program right now, but please keep looking to that Pie Center, because if you are starting an agricultural program, it may be interesting to possibly do a semester study at the Labrador campus soon, and it will give you some insight into that that really specific area of agricultural where those resources are so highly needed.
That's quite interesting. I'm glad this person asked. Okay, a couple of more similar questions. Programs in psychology, specific like subgenres of psychology, maybe, and then education as well as a corollary.
Okay, well, I'll start with the psychology program. That's actually the undergraduate degree I completed, so it's kind of near and dear to my heart. The psychology program at Memorial University can be done either as a Bachelor of Science or a Bachelor of Arts. It's one of those crossover subject areas, and students often ask, well, how do I choose? Like, which one is better? It's really dependent upon the student. There isn't one better than the other because your psychology courses will be the same required courses you'll do for that major. What's going to be different is if you lean more towards a Bachelor of Arts, so it would be, the courses you're going to surround your major with. So you would need to do 2 language courses, you would do more research and writing courses, you would do a minor in humanities and social sciences along with your psychology program. Um, I was leaning more towards the sciences initially, so I actually did a biology minor as part of my a Bachelor of Science in psychology. But when I was getting towards the end of my program, I actually ended up doing a sociology minor, so I kind of could have gone either way. It's a very eclectic program at Memorial. It's one of our larger programs, and it gives you a really solid foundation for moving in a lot of directions. We do have, a wide array of courses, a lot of expertise, a lot of interesting research that's going out now in animal behavior. There's some coursework that's being done in the criminal justice system right now on victim testimony, a lot of child psychology programs, perception courses. It really, you can design your program because it is a large enough faculty or a large enough department within Memorial University. You can kind of pick and choose what area you're going to be interested in, but everybody starts with those introductory courses in their first year to really help with those decisions about where you're going to take it. And we also have a behavioral neuroscience program within our Department of Psychology as well that can be done as a science degree. With the Faculty of Education, again, wide array of programs to study. If you are looking at primary elementary, that's the one program that can be done as a first degree. So you do need to complete 2 years of post-secondary studies prior to meeting admission requirements. And they are very specific. They're looking that students have a broad understanding of a lot of different areas, obviously doing English courses, psychology courses, math courses that would be specific to moving into a primary elementary environment, as well as some introductory science courses. After those 2 years, then you can apply to move into your Bachelor of Education. So the primary elementary program then you could do as a first degree, but a lot of students maybe weren't deciding about going into education, and you can also do it as a second degree. So what that means, if you do it as a first degree, obviously you would complete a bachelor's program, you would do both your admission requirements and your education courses in the 1 degree. As a second degree, you do your Bachelor of Arts or a Bachelor of Science as an undergraduate program. Ensure you're meeting those admission requirements, but then you do your education courses specifically as a second degree. So there's pros and cons to both. A first degree, you're going to get into that workplace a little bit quicker. A second degree, you actually have 2 degrees entering the workplace, and for most locations across Canada, that means you're going to start at actually a higher education background and a higher level within your teaching requirements. So we offer both primary elementary, a music education program, education for people that are going through the phys ed program and want to become phys ed instructor, K to 12 phys ed instructor. We also have that special education program, and of course the high school, junior high, and high school program. All of those are done as second degree programs, and they each have their own unique admission requirements. So we, again, really encourage you. It is a whole degree you have to complete first, but really encourage you to look at those admission requirements early to make sure you're tackling those within your first degree as well.
Superb. Thank you for such a knowledgeable reply as well. Question here about eligibility for international students. I'm going to rephrase this slightly. Are there any programs not open to international students?
I think that question comes a lot around our, say, pharmacy program and our nursing program and our med school program. So there are seats that are saved for students coming out of that are residents of Newfoundland. But we always have seats in our programs for those that are out of province and international students. And you'll see that there's more and more of those seats opening up as we're increasing the size of these programs as well. So there isn't any program that doesn't accept international students. It's just you may see that priority is given, not priority, but there are certain seats, numbers of seats set aside in those three programs for residents of Newfoundland.
Interesting. Thank you very much for that. A few more questions here, and if anyone else has more questions, feel free. Another question from Evan, possible to double major?
Yes, absolutely. Absolutely. So it does require some planning. You don't have as many electives to play with. So there's two things that I see students doing. If they're interested in doing a double major, that's completing two full major programs within a 4-year degree program, certainly possible, but you do have to start planning really early. Another thing that I see students do is looking at joint programs. So we have a lot of joint programs. Probably one of the most popular is that we do have a Bachelor of Commerce, Bachelor of Arts joint program where you actually work on both degrees. It doesn't take twice as long because a lot of the courses do cross over. So basically, you would do an additional 10 courses beyond your first degree, but you can work on both degrees at the same time. So look for those joint programs. It might actually be a better option than a double major, but you can certainly double major. And what you need to look at is that you're starting that process early and seeing where there might be some crossover in courses so that you know exactly how many electives you have to play with throughout your degree program.
Seems like smart advice. Thanks for that. A few more questions here. Specific scholarships offered depending on your program, like does Memorial offer awards for engineering students, awards for comp sci students, etc.?
So those types of awards based specifically on the program that you're moving into are more so at Memorial. They're more so once you're beyond your entrance. So we have a entrance scholarship program that all students that apply are evaluated for an entrance scholarship, and they're not specific to the program that you're coming to study. Once you're in your program and if you maintain scholarship standing and you're doing very well in your program, that's when those internal, really specific to engineering, pharmacy, all of our programs have those ongoing scholarships and awards that they have within their faculty and school. Now that's the automatic scholarships that are automatically determined. So what we do also encourage you to do is really look through some of our named scholarships. They are listed on the website, so it's just mun.ca/scholarships, and you can run through the list of named scholarships. Some of those are unique to certain faculties and schools where there are students that are going in to study in a certain area. I know folklore is one that there is definitely a couple of entrance scholarships. So they're administered by the university, but the scholarship funding is provided by our alumni. And some of those are unique to what you're studying. So have a look at those as well. And those would be awarded most of the time upon application. So there will be a form that you would need to fill out online if you feel you're eligible for those scholarships.
Very cool. Okay, thank you. A few more here, and we have a couple of more minutes, though I guess we're running tight. Any minors or specializations that can be taken alongside your program? I'm going to suspect yes.
So yes, absolutely. One of the things that I really encourage students to look at, you can certainly do minors within, both a Bachelor of Arts, Bachelor of Science, even our music program. There's minors that you can do, which is pretty well a concentration of like 8 to 10 courses, depending on the prerequisites that might be available for those. So when you're looking at the humanities and social sciences, there's more than 25 different choices for majors and minors. The science program is also pretty vast. But one of the things that I really encourage students to look at as well are certificate programs. So there's such things as there's a certificate in Native and Northern Studies. There's a certificate in public administration, criminology. There's a wide array of them. There are new ones coming on all the time. And those certificate programs are basically choosing certain courses that could be part of your major, or maybe they're using your elective courses, and you actually get awarded a certificate along with your degree program. So if you're doing a Bachelor of Arts, you would be required to do a minor. But if you're doing other degree programs, like an engineering program or a science program, a minor is not required. So you may want to look at one of these certificate programs to see if that's something that might work with your degree. I know when I was doing my undergraduate in psychology, a lot of students were doing a certificate as well in criminology at that time. So again, it's 8 to 10 courses that would make up that certificate, but you get awarded your degree and the certificate, which looks really great on your resume.
Okay, super. A few more questions here, and one you sort of touched on already. Maybe you can quickly recap, but internships, co-op, that sort of thing.
Absolutely. So I think, across Canada, we're seeing a lot of colleges and universities turning to what we call experiential learning. Anything that is where you're in a workplace, trying to discover where your skills and abilities are, building those transferable skills. But we have some specific programs. So I mentioned the Faculty of Business have a co-op for their Bachelor of Commerce. Our engineering is all engineering students do co-op. It is a mandatory part of their program. And as well as we have an option within our human kinetics and recreation program. Well, we also have some hidden gems too. So someone had mentioned psychology earlier. So we actually have a co-op option. So you can choose to do a co-op in psychology. We also have this option available in economics, political science, computer science. Many of our major programs within humanities and social sciences and sciences are kind of opening their eyes that it's not mandatory, because not all students are interested in it, but they want to make these options available. So we've opened a new office within the past 5 years that helps students find these co-op opportunities, and then they can take that option as part of their degree program. And one of the nice things is you can kind of combine that work experience possibly with a go abroad experience as well, because we see a lot of our students who actually choose to do their co-op experiences maybe in other locations. And because of our location right on the edge of our country, and it's just a little small hop. It's actually closer to go to Ireland than it is to go to Toronto from Newfoundland. So we actually have agreements with many institutions across Europe, well, all over the world, that actually you can go and study in other places, but we also have a lot of those connections where you can go and work in other places as well. So if you're an archaeologist and you're studying, a specific region of the Mediterranean, why not go and do a co-op there? So we have lots of people that can help you with that, and we really encourage students to see what's going to work for them.
Very cool. That's a sort of stunning fun fact, actually. As somebody who's in Toronto, that's kind of crazy to think.
I know it is. You kind of you feel a little closer connected to Europe sometimes, and especially with our campus in Harlow, so many students get a chance to actually go to the UK, work just outside of London, and realize how close and how easy it is to travel. Once you get to Europe, you can, it's more about the experience of a 4-day long weekend in Italy than it is about your coursework you're doing during that semester too.
Sounds lovely as we go into a Toronto November, no doubt.
Yes,
Uh,
absolutely.
just a couple of more. I know we're over time. Thanks for sticking around for the last couple. We've got one from Gabrielle. Get another program related biomedical science or related programs. What sort of offerings do you have there?
With biomedical science, so there is within our biology program, there is a health stream that you can do, but also with our chemistry program, we have a biological stream within our chemistry program as well. So it really depends on where you're leaning as far as, you know, which direction you want to approach it from. But you could certainly you know, look to those two departments probably for the widest array of courses that would be related to biomedical sciences.
Very cool. Thanks so much. We've got one more from Mackenzie. Curious about supports for students following events such as Hurricane Fiona, so sort of emergency type thing.
I'd say Hurricane Fiona was certainly something that affected our province. It wasn't a direct effect of our students on the St. John's campus and even our Grenfell campus on the West Coast, even though that we do have a lot of students whose families were from the area that were affected. I would say that what would be comparable to that happened in St. John's was a couple of years ago when we had quite a dump of snow. Just before things shut down for the pandemic, we had what is really affectionately known as Snowmageddon in St. John's. It was the biggest dump of snow that had ever happened in the records, and it did shut our city down for a few days. And what happened was the university really opened its doors. We were lucky enough to have power back before a lot of other areas of the city. So the students were actually that weren't living on campus were actually encouraged to come on campus, even though classes weren't running. And we kind of really helped to support those students through that process because a lot of our students that were living in apartments in other areas of the city didn't have power, and so we kind of it's a few people sleeping in on some couches and you know, certainly coming and spending their days there to warm up, get access to electricity. So you know, we're going to look after you when you're here in St. John's. That's just our nature. We have a great Christmas home share program where our international students or any student that's away from home and staying in St. John's over Christmas, you'll likely get invited out to a wonderful dinner or encouraged to come and stay with a staff member or a faculty member or another student through the Christmas holidays. So we treat everybody like family in Newfoundland.
Wow, probably a great spot to end off then. Thanks so much for your time. Jennifer, any parting words for us?
Well, I encourage you to reach out. I mean, this was a little bit of information. Next week, we're actually having our virtual open house. So land on our website, mun.ca/undergrad is where you're going to find the full layout of our open house program. It runs over 3 nights, I should say, and you pick and choose what you want to come and see. All of our academic units will be providing a hour-long session about their academic units, bringing their students with them. So get your questions ready, and we'd love to see you there online.
Thanks so much for your time and expertise today, Jennifer. I appreciate it.
Thank you for your technical support, Logan. Nice to see you.
See you next time.
Bye-bye.